Julie, 5 months down the line now, and I'm going to ask you, if that's okay, how you've experienced post-bootcamp support.
It's been fantastic. You have been like the mother hen, keeping an eye on the group, emailing us. If anyone's having a flap, you'll give them a phone call and help get us back on track. We've had a good few sessions after, just to sort of touch base and see how people are getting on, and it's been good. I think everybody that went to the boot camp had a real big change, and that was evident the last session we had. People have had big changes in their relationship, in their lives, real significant changes, and I think it's all been really positive changes. I know some people are obviously, it was a bigger impact than others, but I think it's been a really powerful thing, and definitely something that's been missing, because weight loss has always been somebody telling you eat less, exercise more, without understanding the psychology of it, which is so complicated. I personally, I'm an intelligent woman, I didn't have a clue why I couldn't stop eating. I really just didn't know, and that consciously, I actually didn't know what was going on with the way I felt about food in my body. So once you sort of brought the unconscious feelings to the surface, it was like, okay, that makes total sense now. So I think that's been such a massive thing, and I think everybody in that boot camp had something come up to different degrees.
So I mean, obviously we have regular catch-ups and coaching calls and so on. And I think one thing that everyone learns from the process, it's an ongoing process, and developing that relationship with your body, developing that relationship with your appetite, and that's a lifelong relationship. It means you're always in the process and always gaining new insights, and part of that process also has been you becoming more physically active. And I just wonder if I could ask you, how has your experience at CrossFit helped that ongoing process? What support do you feel that CrossFit is giving to the process?
It's been like a big sort of, chain reaction. Once the root cause came together and I dealt with that, I want to be active, I want to, nourish my body, and I want to, look after myself, and I think the CrossFit has definitely helped with that. I've came in here and, you'll see yourself, that was a month ago, and I was a bit like, and if you look through the door, it does look quite scary, but actually with the support and the sort of hand-holding through it that you get, it's not at all. It's hard work, but you do find yourself, your first couple of sessions are quite hard, and you're sore after them, but you sort of come out and go, yeah, that's good, and then you want to do more and more, and I find even in a month, it's been a massive big thing. I'm managing to do more reps of things, I'm managing to put heavier weights on, and I'm looking at boxes thinking, I could have jumped on that box, whereas to start with I thought, I don't even think I could do step-ups on the box, and now I'm jumping on the smallest box, but I'm sort of eyeing up the next one already.
And I think that's really important also when you choose an exercise program or an activity, is having that process nurtured as an ongoing process and as a growing and changing process with people who really want to support not only your physical changes, but all the emotional changes that go on with that as well, and people who are in touch and can see that that's going on, and that's clearly where you're coming from.
Very much so. I understand you need to get those things in sync and really look at where that person is in terms of confidence with what they're doing, and really support how that confidence builds.
So we're coming now to the end of the interview, and I have got two athletes sitting next to me, and it's not often you have that opportunity on a Saturday afternoon. I'm going to ask each of you, if it's okay, something that might help everyone watching, including me. What top tips have you got, Robin, for keeping inspired to perspire?
Okay, probably the most important one, given that you've taken that step, put the foot in the door, is just to be open to what's going on in here, but to speak to your fellow classmates, okay? Because within that, and I think you find this, Julie, within your classmates is the strength to keep coming back. The relationships you build with them, as well as your coach, are what will give you that faith and that understanding that actually everybody in here is going through the exact same process. It doesn't matter how fit or unfit, trained or untrained they are. And you know, from the coach's perspective, we see that happening, and the people we see really taking light and taking off are the ones who have really got to know their classmates, and there's a reason beyond just lifting a bit of weight to get fit.
Yeah, and that's a really important message. If you can find something beyond losing weight, beyond getting fit, that's important to you as a person, that'll keep you coming along.
I think it's what, in the case of CrossFit Causeway specifically, because every CrossFit gym is different, I think specifically here, we're just lucky enough that we have an incredible group of people that train in this gym, and you know, I know everybody comes in and remains here because of that group of people. You know, it's that makes it what it is.
And what's this that could support your being motivated?
It's probably my top tip number 2, and this is something that we pretty much demand, if not insist on, in our training. Because of the nature of CrossFit training, it's intense. It is hard. What we do in here is difficult, but that's what promotes so much change, so much positive change. We're really big on keeping a diary in terms of what you've done to monitor progress, because in 6 months' time, and you're now starting to see this, Julie, in some ways it may not feel any easier, but actually when you look at the figures don't lie, and what you were lifting 6 months ago, or how far you were running, or how many times you were doing it 6 months ago, and what you're doing today, you'll be amazed. It's incredible how a short number of weeks can change things.
It's a really great self-coaching tool as well.
Absolutely, and very affirmative. When you see those numbers changing, it's positively affirmative, but also on the other hand, it's a great way of monitoring if things are going the wrong way. It gives you a wake-up call, a warning sign, and you can get back on track. And of course, again, because of the coaching backup in here, you know, you can take your book to take your training diary to the coach and ask the coach about it, and he or she will give you advice on what's happening in there.
And Julie, your top tip from breaking out of the dieting paradigm, breaking in to the fitness paradigm?
I think the first thing I would say is, if you can get to the root cause of why you struggle with your weight, everything else
falls into place pretty much. Yeah.
And I think it's important just to take the first step and to do something that you actually enjoy. I think the key thing for me, which I was always terrible at, is not beating yourself up. And I've had a total transition. I'm chuffed out my face if I can hang on a bar. I hung on a bar. My husband's probably going demented because I hung on a bar and I jumped on a box. He's like, what? Whereas I would have been like, oh, I'm only jumping on the 12-inch box and everyone else is jumping on bigger boxes. You know, so it's just allowing yourself, you know, to give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, that's really important, because people who have been trapped in the dieting paradigm, they're really good at beating themselves up. And part of this whole thing is appreciating what you do have that's phenomenal, and really giving yourself some self-care. Something that really made me smile on Facebook the other day, someone put up a chart which is different between cats and dogs. And the dog side was everything that happened, the dog wagged their tail saying, that's brilliant, you just told me that's brilliant, I just hung off a bar, that's brilliant. And having that joy about what you can do, even the simple things that your body is able to do for you, that's phenomenal. And the fact that your body has an appetite, and if you listen to it, it then begins to give you the optimal body for you, is worth a big wag of the tail. And that's the end of today's outdoors broadcast, because that's what it feels like in here. Yeah.
It's good training temperature.
Yeah, that's us done. That's brilliant.